Hello, hello. Welcome to the Get At Gaming Plus holiday episode. Happy Thanksgiving because that happened a little bit for you. But we are doing those pre-recorded episodes so I can have a break and maybe I'll finally finish Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because that's just been sitting there and on my vacation, I just want to finish Yakuza and then my parents just make fun of me because they're just like, "You're playing this game you hate?" And it's like, I don't hate it. It's not that good. But if you're new here, you can get the podcast normally Wednesdays audio on all podcast services, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all that fun stuff. You can also get it as video on Fridays, bi-weekly podcast, except during this holiday section where it's going to be weekly until the beginning of the year. But my name is Alex.
I'm Ben.
And then we also have a special guest today. So, for audio listeners, special guest was waving.
I didn't know if I was supposed to talk yet.
No, I mean, that's fair. I was testing you. So, yeah. So, again, this is Get Gaming Plus podcast holiday episode. So, video people, if you're seeing certain decorations, it may have been recorded earlier. Maybe someone's just a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's why it just says Happy Halloween everywhere. But yeah, our special guest today is Michaela, aka gluten-free underscore waifu. I'm gonna say the underscore just in case, so you can find her actually. And on Twitch and I guess TikTok fame originally, and all this cool stuff. And thank you for being here. And yeah, would you like to basically give the elevator pitch of who you are, what you do?
I can. So, hi everybody. My name is Michaela, or you call me Gluten Free Waifu, as Cheetar said. I am on Twitch and TikTok mainly. I am a full-time content creator. I mainly do first-time playthroughs of RPGs on Twitch. So I love playing Kingdom Hearts, Xenoblade, Final Fantasy, Pokemon, and I just recently got into the Resident Evil series. So that's what I do. That's what I do on Twitch. Mainly on TikTok, I do like Pokemon content, but yeah, I love doing both.
Awesome. So I guess I'm just gonna get right into this. First of all, this is a side tangent because why not? This is a podcast. You can just talk about whatever you want to. I don't really like Xenoblade. Do you enjoy Xenoblade?
Okay, I will be honest about it. I'm almost done with the game, I believe. Okay. When I first started playing it, I was not a fan. Mm-hmm. Took me like a couple weeks to like
it's
get
weird
back
Final
into
Fantasy
it.
12 like combat system.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the combat system. I like the slash and go, mm-hmm. but I'm liking it.
Okay.
The combat's not the best. I'm getting used to it, so it's a little bit better. But the story got really, really good. I mean, okay. It is a JRPG. It's got a really good story. Yeah. So, I'm enjoying it a lot more.
Okay.
So,
because I bought Xenoblade when it first came out on the Wii, eons ago when I worked at GameStop over here in random town, Indiana. I bought that. I bought, what was the other game that was in that thing? The Last Story. I don't know if Pandora's Tower ever came out, but there are like 3 games, 3 RPGs that there was like a, I don't know, some sort of fan calling where they're just like, you need to release these in the States, you need to release these. And that's why mm-hmm. Xenoblade has like UK voice acting. Because they never just localized it here. It was just like, let's just throw it. It already has English voice acting. But yeah, that's when I played it originally on Wii. I think I got about halfway through because I thought I was supposed to like it. And I didn't really enjoy it. But then I picked it up recently on Switch, and I didn't get that far again. I got it because I've been playing .hack, because I've been buying mm-hmm. all the .hack games, even though they're really expensive. I somehow found them. And it's kind of similar where it's very grindy and stuff, except you're actually mm-hmm. pushing the attack button compared to just like, I don't know, watching him attack and maybe doing other things here or there. But Yeah, so I'm not really a huge fan of it. Everyone wants me to play it. Like, I know a few people for my streams personally. They want me to play it, and I'm just like, you know what? If we hit a certain sub goal, maybe we'll play it, but we'll see. And no one's done it, so I'm like, thank God, because I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play RPGs on stream generally, just because
Mhm.
I know it's going to be a long haul. And the only
Yeah.
reason why I played Dot Hack on stream because I spent, I mean, the game's worth $300 for part 4, but I spent only like $160 on it, thankfully. And
Oh, okay.
so I was just like, I'm not gonna play these unless I stream them, and I want to justify my purchase. So that's why I went through each of those games and actually streamed them. Um, but yeah, no, I was just curious what you actually thought about Xenoblade, because from what I have
Yeah.
seen, like I've avoided your Xenoblade on purpose because I'm like, maybe I'll go back to it someday.
No, totally understandable.
But at the same time, I've noticed you have Xenoblade scheduled, and you're like, just kidding, Kingdom Hearts 2. And it's like, oh, I see how this is. I don't think you're enjoying Xenoblade that much compared to the other games.
There well, I had to change it a few times because my I thought there was something wrong with my capture card because I play it for my Switch,
Mm,
obviously. My HDMI cable burnt out on me and
that
I
happens,
couldn't
yeah.
figure it out right away, so that's why I got
Okay.
rescheduled. No, I'm actually
That's the story.
enjoying it
Okay.
a lot. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than when I first started. But yeah, it's very grindy. You have to do like all of the quests to like
Mhm.
level up properly and make your way through the game. Because if it's one of those games where if you're like 2 levels under whatever you're fighting, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna kick your butt.
Yeah.
So that's like my main complaint
Okay.
is like the leveling system. But other than that, I'm starting to enjoy it.
That's good. I've heard Xenoblade 2 is the worst in this series
That's what I've heard
because it's
too.
super grindy and super
Hmm.
not rewarding. So but you have to play that. It sounds, I mean, you don't have to. You never have to. But the way that I am, I'm like, "Oh, well, in order to play 3, I have to play 2."
I'm
So
the same way,
so I
but
kind of just have to go that way.
I might skip 2, just go to 3 and come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, just don't skip any of those Kingdom Hearts games like everyone else is telling you to.
No, I won't.
Yeah, better
I,
do
I,
I
it.
I think
promise.
I actually think it's pretty funny because I watched a couple of your streams where you played the newest one,
Hmm.
and because of that, I ordered it and I bought it.
Really?
I haven't opened it, but I bought it.
I mean, that's what you did with me. Like when I was talking up Dot Hack, and you're like, "Oh, hey, I got Dot Hack GU because it was only like $10."
I did buy it though,
Did you
and
play it? No, of course not.
when I took it out of plastic,
Oh, you did?
that's
Okay.
out of the plastic. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah, I mean that game is like $2 on PSN. So
Hmm.
Is it really?
yeah, Switch is still
Wow.
like $50 because
I know.
that's Switch tax.
Nintendo.
Yeah, come on. But cool. Yeah, I was just wondering how you felt about that game. But generally, so this is part of the episode, I guess, where we're just gonna talk about you, what you do, and all that stuff. So now I'm gonna pick your
Oh
brain.
gosh. Okay.
Ben, feel free to pick brains as well, because it's in the season of Nightmare for Christmas, I guess. Picking brains, and so I guess first of all, I'm gonna ask an easy question.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What is your favorite? Like RPGs are your favorite,
Hmm.
probably. From what it seems like, RPGs probably are your favorite. Is your favorite genre, or JRPG specifically. But what is your favorite game or game series?
Ooh.
Because I
So
know Pokemon is probably
yeah,
a big
it's
one.
that's gonna be the answer.
Okay.
Because I've been playing Pokemon since I've been into Pokemon since I was 3, so 25 years.
Okay.
So that's my game series, that's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
But since I've gotten into streaming and I've been, playing more variety of games because, I was strictly like a Nintendo gamer
Yeah.
before. And now I'm like, I'm dipping into Square Enix and I'm loving it. So
Yeah.
so My all-time favorite game would have to be Pokemon Emerald.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that.
I love Pokemon Emerald or Ruby and Sapphire.
Mhm.
Gen 3. Gen 3 is my
Mhm.
favorite. But Final Fantasy VII Remake really changed my perspective on games, and
Yeah.
it's like it's my second favorite, but it could closely take over that Pokemon spot.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
remake is Ben, you never played remakes all the way through yet, did you?
I'm about 6 hours in.
Okay.
Ooh.
But yeah, remake is a special game, especially if you've played the previous series because
Mhm.
it really or previous I actually yeah, previous series of Final Fantasy 7 games since there's like a million of them. And
Yeah.
so like it really does reward you. Like even the Yuffie DLC
Oh
um
my god. So good.
because like there's thing Ben spoilers, I guess this isn't really spoilers, but whatever.
Oh, I'm okay with spoilers. We
Okay,
do this.
cool. Well, there's stuff from Dirge of Cerberus in there,
Yes.
like characters and stuff like that, and then
Mhm.
that means like Crisis Core stuff is like kind of in there too, and like
Yep.
there's just so much weird stuff happening that it's very rewarding for someone who has played the original game, just sat through that franchise. Because honestly, Final Fantasy VII, I mean, I still think it is an overrated game, but it's overrated for a reason. And so it it is in itself like Final Fantasy is a franchise. Final Fantasy VII is its own franchise, and
Yes.
so like you have Advent Children. When Advent Children came out, that was like
Mhm.
hottest thing ever. Like I remember getting the DVD for that, and it came with a copy of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, and I put that in a garage sale and never watched it because I just heard it was
Oh.
awful, and so I just never touched it. But I watch Advent Children all the time, and I played Final Fantasy VII. I played Crisis Core. I never owned a PSP. I borrowed a PSP
Oh, there you
from
go.
like a friend because that's how I played Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts,
Mhm.
because that was the only way you could play Kingdom Hearts back then was
Yeah.
owning 20 different consoles.
I
And
know.
so that's how I played that. And then yeah, I also played Crisis Core and stuff. So that's a good pick, honestly, for Final Fantasy Remake being a favorite because that like yeah, it is a recent game, but it does so many
Yeah.
things thematically. The voice acting is really good.
It's so good for English. I was
Yeah.
like blown away because, I like playing and, subbed
Mhm.
instead. But when you're streaming, not everybody can see the subtitles,
Yeah.
especially if they're on mobile, it's hard to read.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, we'll do English, not a big deal. I actually love it in English. They did
Yeah.
a really good job casting the voice actors.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, for sure. Um also, I don't want to I guess shit talk your other favorite. Um
It's okay. For it. Go for it.
but Gen 3 is my least favorite gen.
Oh.
Because that was the part I don't I had Ruby, and you know how like there was like the Ruby and Sapphire, like Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby,
Mhm.
like the meme where it
Yes.
was like there's too much water. That's how I felt as a kid. I felt like there it was just mostly water, and I don't like the sound card in the Game Boy Advance. So it's just like, hey, I hope you like trumpets because trumpets is all you're getting for the soundtrack, and you just hear
There's so
burr,
many
burr,
memes with
burr.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. I really my I really like chiptune, and then I also really like I was big into like the Super Nintendo. So like when we
Mhm.
hopped to Game Boy Advance and we were getting Super Nintendo quality games, like, oh cool, that's awesome. But then when you start to hear the actual sound card itself and you're like, man, I don't really like this music. This music isn't vibing because like Pokemon music, it like is awesome. Like Pokemon music is
Mhm.
always awesome. And so when I got to that gen, I wasn't really feeling it. I started with the original. I think I got blue. Yeah, because my birthday is in January, so like I think I got like
Mhm.
blue as like a Christmas gift, and then I got red for my birthday, and then I eventually got yellow and all that. So like I started from the beginning, like when they came out, and
Mhm.
so playing that, and then gold, and then silver and stuff. I never played crystal still. But yeah, getting to ruby, it might have been also a thing of like, I'm getting too old for Pokemon. I don't need this baby
Yeah.
stuff anyway. But I don't know. I think the sound card for me personally just kind of ruined the experience of the game.
That's totally understandable.
But some of the Pokemon are really cool. Like I like oh man, now I forget his name. The chameleon one. I like that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
why am I? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out right now.
Kecleon.
Kecleon.
Yeah.
Kecleon.
I was just the same word, like things, but yeah, that worked. Yeah, Kecleon. Yeah, so he's one of my favorites just because he's just weird. But yeah, Gen 3 does have a lot of good Pokemon, but that's kind of where I fall off. But then I pick back up with Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, which were my favorites for the longest time.
Oh, those are good.
And then X and Y. I really like X and Y. But then when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire happened again, I was like, I don't like these games. So then I never finished those.
It's okay.
But anyway, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering, yeah, what kind of games you're into and stuff, and all that. But we kind of already covered that. Ben, did you have a question? I've been talking a lot.
Just
It's okay.
Just for the record, I have finished every Pokemon game up until anything on the Switch. So
that's pretty good.
And I'm old, so for me to do that, I think that's, first off, that's an achievement. I should be putting that on my resume. But you know, I've watched you several times. It was funny the first time I was on there. You actually thought it was Alex, and I was like, nope, it's the other guy. And so, but I noticed the Resident Evil. I haven't caught any for a while. Work has been crazy. Where are you at on Resident Evils? Because I know you were talking about Resident Evil.
So I just started on Sunday, and I had to do a shorter stream that day. And you know, of course, we talk for at least 3 hours before I get started with the game. So I think I only got about 2 hours of gameplay in, and I died a few times, so we had to backtrack a little bit because this is my first Resident Evil game. I'm still like in the first part, so I didn't make it far at all. Like we went to like the police, I think it's like the police station or the police headquarters.
Yeah, I think I saw you there.
Yeah, I've still been like exploring around there because I am taking my sweet time, like looking for every item because I know like bullets are very like scarce. So, and my community loves getting me with jump scares. So there was a few times where I had to stop playing the game for a couple minutes and take a breather. So we're still in the very beginning, but I'm gonna continue playing it this weekend, and I'm hoping to like play it all day, and hopefully we can make some progress.
Those were some of my favorite games. I remember getting it for PlayStation and being completely creeped out with the first one with the whole zombie.
Yes.
That whole scene.
That FMV, just like where he just like turns around. It's still creepy, honestly.
It's really creepy.
I remember I was telling my roommates about it, and we were all watching me play it, and we just stopped for a second, like, okay, that's messed up. The only one I didn't like was 6. 6 was awful.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Weird. Yeah, but I loved 5 because 5 for me was the first time I ever got to play online. And I played
yeah.
So we would play that there. And another question, really quick here, because you talked about a lot of the ones you really like. What is one game that you've played that you're like, oh my gosh, this game is just awful? Since Alex already talked some shit, you should throw that out there.
A game that was just awful. Let's see.
Have you streamed any games that you don't like? I guess as well, like to kind of throw that.
Yes, and I'm trying to remember which one I streamed before. I can give you. It came right to my mind. Stardew Valley.
Thank you.
I don't. Okay, I'm so sorry if anybody's like listening right now and you love Stardew Valley. I tried my absolute best to like this game. I couldn't do it. Okay, the one thing that my biggest pet peeve was when you have to go to bed by 2 a.m. every night or you die. Like, why can't I just play the game? Why do I have to go to bed at 2 in the morning?
How many hours did you get into that game? Like,
not much. Maybe like 10 hours.
I mean, you did more than I did. Previous podcast person was here, Spencer. He was huge for Stardew Valley and all of that, and he was like, you gotta try it, man. It's really good, man. You should play it. If you ever hear Spencer, like, he talks like this, just, hey man, how's it going? But yeah, so I bought it on Switch because it was on sale. I was like, you know what, fine, I'll try it. I like Animal Crossing enough, and I liked Harvest Moon back in the day.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
So I go and play it. I lasted 2 hours, and I was just like, this isn't for me. This is bad. And he's like, why don't you like it? It's good. You gotta play it. We should play it multiplayer and all this other stuff. Like, no, I'm done. And now I just have a digital game of Stardew Valley that I hate. So it just like looks at me there in my little downloads.
I got the physical copy on my shelf, and I pass it by every time.
Yeah, it's I'm happy that I'm not alone in that, but at the same time I feel like I hate a lot of games, so I'm kind of used to just not liking the status quo.
Yeah.
But
if you remember, he had a ridiculous amount of hours in that game. It was like, I want to say it was over 100 hours.
Oh yeah, he had more than that. Yeah, for sure. Because he would play it all the time, and he would I think he played the PS4 and Vita, so I think it had cross save.
Yeah.
So like he was switching between the two. And then he's even started right back up on Steam, and then on Switch as well. And yeah, that's just crazy. Like I can't do that. It's like Minecraft or something, where it's like, yeah, I can get into it for a little bit, but I can't devote my whole life to that. I mean, honestly, sorry, continue.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, it really reminds me of Minecraft because you literally like go in the cave. Like, I didn't know there was monsters in the game.
Yeah, it's like Terraria or something.
I was really surprised. So that like really threw me off. I like farming games, like farming simulator stuff. But when you actually gotta do that much work where your crops can die and you gotta like fight monsters and go to bed by 2 o'clock every night, no.
Have you played? I guess you have a 3DS, I would assume.
I do.
Have you played Fantasy Life?
I have never gotten into that game.
Okay, because like that is very much Harvest Moon-ish, but it's also level 5 to where like you can choose a job, and you can just be like, yo, I'm just the tailor of this town. I'm just gonna do tailor things. And when you're done with that, you can be like, oh, I'm gonna just be the hero, and you can go off and go do stuff, or be a miner, or like just start like a coal miner and just like go out there and just like get materials and all that stuff. It's very similar to like a Stardew or like a Minecraft or something, but it's more anime inspired, and you can just switch between jobs pretty much whenever, because you're an apprentice for each of those things, and it kind of like there obviously is like story progression and stuff, but you could lose yourself in that game. I haven't played that game in a long time. I don't know if I still own it, actually. It might have just been one of those random things that I sold because I was stupid. But
I did that a lot.
Yeah, so like I'd recommend that. I don't think it's that much, honestly, but that's kind of a similar game to those two, but it's less grindy. It's more fun, in my opinion. There isn't really stuff to kill. You can pretty much just do whatever you want, but you do have like a base town, and you leave and come back and do stuff. Yeah, I brought up Minecraft, but then I was also thinking along the lines of like I have friends who try to get me into this, or I've tried to play, and then I just don't, like Final Fantasy 14, because that is a huge game. That is an MMO.
It is.
It is a lifestyle. It is like
That's the only game you can like play at
exactly.
that time.
I mean, she's gonna listen to this eventually, but I have a friend who that's all she plays, and so like may touch a game here or there, but it's just like, how is game doing? Oh, game is fine, because you don't play games, you're playing game, and
Just
that's
the game.
yeah. And thankfully, like, there is a really good game that you can just enjoy forever, and I can see that, and I've played enough of that game. I haven't beaten like the original stuff for it anyway, but like I played enough of it where I can say like, yeah, this is good. It has a lot of content. I don't want this to be my life. So I'll hop in occasionally. I will pay for 60 days here or there. But then the problem is, if it was a free to play game, I'd be playing more of it. Whereas if it's it's something that I'm paying for. So I buy like a chunk, I buy like a card, and I only play maybe 10 of those 60 days because it's just like, oh, stuff came up. Of course stuff came up because I bought it for this time and I can't even play it. Awesome. But
That's how it works.
yeah, exactly. So let's see. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how I want to go with this podcast. It's a podcast that we can do whatever. It's a show about nothing. It's basically Seinfeld, but we're less cool. But
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. You were talking about these games you play, like those. I will stick to my Animal Crossing with my island.
Animal Crossing.
My character's name is Peter Griffin, and
Oh.
he,
he lives on Quahog.
yeah, which
Of
is
course he
hilarious
does.
because I just started another kind of game like that where you got to name your character, and I named him Cleveland Brown.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
Are you just gonna
Yeah.
talk like him too? Oh man,
I wish.
I don't. It's a crazy story. I don't really watch Family Guy anymore, although I did watch an episode a couple days ago because TikTok keeps like showing me episodes of Family Guy now.
Yes.
And I'm just like, you know what? Fine. I'll watch this episode. I'm invested enough in these two clips. I'm going to go find this episode on Hulu and watch it. And it wasn't that good. And so, the new voice actor for Cleveland, he used to like do streaming, and
Oh.
he used to do like YouTube videos, and he would just like play Call of Duty, and he would just do the voices.
Oh. See, I didn't know if that was the real voice
That's
actor
the new
or
voice actor of Cleveland. But it was before he was Cleveland.
Oh,
there was a
I thought it was
contest.
just somebody who was really good at it and they were just messing with people, but no, it was the actual voice actor.
Yeah, because
Oh.
when the whole, I mean, obviously things happen.
Yep.
But like the whole Apu thing like changed.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, we should probably cast someone who actually is black instead of just
Oh, yeah.
having someone else who is just white voice everyone. And so they had like a contest or something, I believe, and that's how he won. But yeah, like it's just hilarious to see like he just walked around and just playing Call of Duty. He's just like, hey, my name is Cleveland Brown, and he's just like going around and talking. It's like, I'm gonna get you. Hey, Daddy, what you doing? Shut up, Junior. And just like talking as the two characters and just doing like his own banter. And then he somehow just got the job and he voices those characters and like some other people. That's the dream, actually. That'd be pretty
You
cool.
should have auditioned for it. You were pretty good.
Nah, I'm not that great. But yeah, it's interesting to see how, I guess I'm gonna segue into this. It's interesting to see like what being online can really like do for someone and just give you that sort of beacon and presence. So I want to kind of talk about first here, and we'll make this part a little bit short and then maybe go on a break, but I want to kind of talk about, how did you first get into this? What made you decide in streaming? What made you decide, I guess, I'm assuming from what I remember, right? Because you showed up on my TikTok feed, like,
Mhm.
like I think we joined TikTok honestly at like the same time,
I think
and
so.
and that's why like I was like, oh, the algorithm just like wants to put newbies together. All right, and
It does.
so like that's how I found you. But if I remember correctly, you were already just promoting your Twitch immediately on
Mhm.
TikTok almost. So you research stuff. I get so from the beginning, I should say, you were planning on doing Twitch and you kind of researched like, here are the places I should go to actually make a community or make myself stand out. Is that basically right?
Pretty much. So before I started Twitch, because I did start TikTok, I think like a month before I started on
Yeah.
Twitch officially. I didn't know a single thing about Twitch. I never watched a single streamer. I didn't even know what a shout out was. I didn't even know I didn't know anything about Twitch. I don't know. I just randomly one day I decided I was drinking one day, and I was a little buzzed, and I was like, I want to be a Twitch streamer. I don't know why. It just came to my mind. But kind of the main reason why I did want to start Twitch, I just recently moved. I moved from Northern California to SoCal. I never lived in Southern California before. I moved away from all my family. I did not have a single friend. Sorry, I'm kind of like getting into some deep stuff here now. So I got really depressed, and my social skills went completely down. I had horrible social anxiety. I was just in my house 24/7. I didn't talk to anybody, I didn't know anybody. And I was like, "You know what? I think I'm going to start Twitch and try to make online friends. I'm going to give it a try." So, and I didn't know a single thing, and I was still really scared to go on the internet publicly because the internet's a scary, crazy place.
Yeah.
So, probably for about 3 or 4 months, I went on YouTube and I watched all of these tutorials from all these bigger streamers on how to get started, how to start your community. And I started with TikTok first just to kind of get my feet wet and see if I wanted to be on the internet, and it just happened. So I did TikTok for like that month, and then I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then I got started with Twitch at the end of July, I believe. So I think I started TikTok at the beginning of June. And then now I do this full time.
Which I think that's awesome. I've got a 16-year-old, and he's like, I don't want to go to college, which if he doesn't want to go to college, I'm fine with that. I don't want the bill. And he's like, I really want to get into streaming. And I said, you know what? I said, do the research, do all the work. You are a proven fact. If you do the research, it can work out. Now, granted, he's my child, so we try to do everything super quick and make it work. But I think that's awesome, especially when you said you come from a place where you'd move and there was social anxiety. I think somebody that comes. So I work in mental health. So
okay.
you've done what you've done, and I watch your streams. You are so confident, and you're just like, and you talk to everybody, which I find really awesome.
Thank you.
I know sometimes when there's a lot of people in a room on anything or any format, and they're, everyone's trying to make a comment and then or say something, but you do a good job of acknowledging everybody. I think that's awesome, and I don't usually give compliments. You should ask my kids. I don't do that very often.
Oh well, I feel honored.
Alex knows. My oldest son's been on a couple of our podcasts, and I really dog him pretty hard. But I think watching your streams and stuff like that, I think it's you talk to everybody, because I think that's always important for anybody that supports anybody in either some sort of social media, is just to say hello. And like we talked about earlier, you will stop your stream for 30 minutes, say hello, and I just think that's great.
Thank you. I just try to be super welcoming because I always live by that like motto. I don't know if that's the right word, of you don't know what somebody is going through. You really never know. People don't talk about things. Well, a lot of people are open in my streams. I don't care if you're like open about things. If you need to talk about it, you can talk about it. I'll listen. I might not always know what to say, but I'll listen. But I just always think of, you never know what people are going through. So and I have been there. Like, I am really good at masking things. I've always been that way. And I know probably half the people in my community can be like that. So I just always try to be welcoming. I listen. I try my best to get back to every single message that pops up in my chat. Sometimes I miss one, but I'm always like, hey, if I missed it, resend it. Doesn't bug me one bit.
Hmm.
But I just always live by the, you never know what somebody's going through, and it's still hard for me to believe, but a lot of people tell me, hey, your stream like really makes my day. Like I
Yeah.
was going through something crappy, and like I had such a good time here, and I'm in a better mood. So I always have those thoughts in the back of my head when I'm streaming, because
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
that person. Like I said, I was a total hermit crab, you know, before I started this. And even if it's just the internet, just having some type of social interaction helps so much more than you think it does.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that as well. Like you definitely just talking and interacting with everyone that you can, you're definitely making someone's day just by acknowledging their existence because like you
Hmm.
said, you don't know what they're necessarily going through and that could have impacted their life greatly and you just don't know it. Like
Exactly.
I'm I don't know how to get to this subject, I guess. But I mask my stuff a lot. And
I do
so
too.
the thing is that whenever I try to show emotion or something, I think of like, oh, I'm just doing it for attention or something like that. So unfortunately, my initial thought when I do see people say things like that, I will still
Hmm.
be nice to them, but I'm just like,
Hmm.
you're just fishing for attention, aren't you? Especially if they do it multiple times, then I'm just like, all right, what's your end goal here? But at the same time, like you don't really know what someone's going through. And
Hmm.
that's just the way that my brain does it because I don't want to say what I'm really feeling, I guess.
Well, and
And
then it's hard reading comments because
yeah,
you can take stuff in the wrong tone
I do all the time at
so
work.
so easily. So easily. Like I'll read something and I'm like, I don't know if they're actually giving that tone or if I'm reading it in that
Hmm.
tone. So I'll I kind of straight up ask that. I'm like, I don't know if it's supposed to be kind of in a rude tone. If it was like not cool, but like I said, I take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I don't lash at people because when you're just having a really crappy day and you're trying so hard not to be a jerk, but sometimes that tone you can't
Hmm.
help it. You
Yeah.
really can't. So I don't take it personally,
Yeah.
to be honest. So I
I,
get like that too. There's days
yeah.
where I come on stream. Most of the time I'm really good masking my emotions because I have to come on here and I don't say I put on a show all the time.
Hmm.
I'm pretty real on how I'm feeling that day. But there's some days where I'm in a really bad mood and I try my best not to show it. But man, there's just some of those comments where I can't hide my tone sometimes.
Yeah.
But I tell them, like, don't take it personal. Like, I'm also having a bad day. You know, let's
Hmm.
just let bygones be got bygones. Let's just move on. But
And I feel like on Twitch, there's several different sides.
mhm.
So I watch you, and another guy I watch is stuff, and he is very mellow. He's very much positive, like you are. Um, but I think with the pandemic and everything that happened with that, people needed an outlet. People needed to
Exactly.
watch and have social interactions.
Mhm.
And I will tell you that for some people, mental health wise, streams like yours, uh, that's their I need something there. And so they go to this community, and I think video game community, it's 50-50. Sometimes it can be great and
Mhm.
it can be super not negative, or it can be really negative. But I
Yep.
feel for the most part, most of the streams I watch are pretty positive. So,
Yes.
you know, you don't know what someone's day is, and it's those little interactions of you just saying their name on the screen and saying that, and saying hello and welcome to my stream. I think that does a lot
It
for people.
does. It really does. Like, I'm a streamer myself, obviously, and then when I go into my friends' streams and they give me like that high energy welcome, it just makes me feel so good. Like I feel important.
Hmm.
I mean, not saying I don't feel important, in my everyday life, but it's just so nice just having that positive interaction with somebody cuz like I said, most people on the internet are not nice.
No.
So,
Yeah.
it's nice to have that change up where like even like when a new person comes in, I am just super nice to everybody. And I love when I also go into a random stream and like I don't know that person whatsoever and they welcome me like that instantly instead of being like, "Oh, hi." Like, I don't really know you yet, but welcome in. Um it's just so nice.
I think
It
it's very,
really does make my day.
yeah, and I think that little bit sometimes is what people need to do have. And
Mhm.
so I always love that on your streams. And like it may take 20-30 minutes, but you run through and you say, hello and welcome to being in your stream. And so I think that's really, really cool. Um, and I was going to ask one more question because we were talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Um, and I ask this question a lot. So, is there a chance that you will stream Final Fantasy X?
So that's a really good question. I have streamed Final Fantasy X in the past. That was technically my first Final Fantasy game. That game kind of scared me because I am not a fan of the sphere grid. I'm sure a lot of people can say that.
I
It's
will
so
to that.
confusing.
It is very
So
confusing.
it did scare me away. I've been meaning to go back into it. I was actually going to start it like this month or September. But then Pokemon got announced, and then we got the Crisis Core, announcement. So now I'm trying to catch up with, what I'm currently playing, but I am trying my best to get to Final Fantasy X because I love the characters, I was loving the story, but I definitely need to research on how to do the sphere grid properly
Hmm.
because I just watched a friend get almost through the whole game and she goofed up the sphere grid and she was like locked, like she was
Oh
stuck.
yeah, not
So,
not to have spoilers, but there's a Seymour fight um,
yes.
at the very top of the mountain, and if you've not done it right, it's
Yep.
impossible.
It's impossible. So like you could really trap yourself in that game. So it was very like I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait till I figure this out more.
Yeah,
So then I moved on with 7. I was like, I'm gonna get the feel of Final Fantasy first, because I never played these games growing up. I didn't own a PlayStation, I never had PSP. I was strictly Nintendo, hand console.
Hmm.
So I do want to get back into 10, but I feel like I had to be a little more experienced to move on with that game.
that is my all time, and I know we've talked about it because he always. I see him shaking his head right now. He's like, that is the one RPG that got me into RPGs. I was working at Blockbuster. I had just got a PS2, and there was nothing to rent for the longest time. And then when that game came out, I was like, I'll check this out. It looks really cool, and it got me hooked. Now, see, Alex, she's gonna play Final Fantasy X, so therefore you can stream the bouncer.
I
So
had the bouncer. I have the Japanese version. The Japanese
get better.
PS2 can actually play it, and the fun part is, for some reason, the Japanese PS2 version of the bouncer, it has English dialogue if you want to, and it also has English menus. So like I could just
Oh.
straight up play that on my Japanese PS2 and not have a problem at all. Now, will I? Probably not, because that's too much work to set up my PS2 again. Because like, I think my PS2's like port for like the audio video is just going bad, so I might just have to fix it.
Oh.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I mean, if you
You're
buy me a
telling
new PS2, sure.
oof. I got birthdays. I got birthdays this month. I just had my wedding anniversary, so
Oh.
um, I am completely broke at this point. Um,
And speaking of being broke, you know what always helps us? Listening to our sponsors. So we are going to take a quick break, and we will talk at Michaela more. All right. See ya.
Hi,
Ben from the Get At It Gaming podcast, here to talk a little bit about Anchor. If you've not heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right, hello, welcome back to the Get At Gaming Plus podcast. Previously on Avatar. Previously on Get At Gaming. We were talking about Final Fantasy X because Ben had to ask the question, like, hey, you should stream Final Fantasy X. It's my favorite game ever. It's so good. I love Waka. I love the Tidus laugh. The ha 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 ha.
I mean, that is I will admit that is very cringy, but having small children, I watch weird things on Netflix like Cocomelon, so that is not as cringy as Cocomelon.
But also with context, like it is supposed to be a cringy, weird laugh, like in that scene.
Yeah.
Like he's forcefully doing it. But no, my problem with the one of the reasons why I don't really like 10 or I don't gravitate towards 10 might have been, I don't think it was my first Final Fantasy necessarily. I think 4 was on the Game Boy Advance actually. But I already played Kingdom Hearts first. So I played Kingdom Hearts and then tried to play 10. And even now, like playing the new HD 10-2, I'm more of a fan of 10-2 because I like J-pop music and stuff. So I like the concert and stuff in the beginning and all that. But with 10, there's a lot of cutscene where you're not doing anything and you're just watching stuff. Whereas nowadays, the way I describe it, it's like Uncharted, where like I would like to be controlling that cutscene. I like it to be some sort of QTE. I would like to be engaged and active in the things that are happening. Like when you are being washed away like by the storm, like I want to be swimming. I want to be doing something there. But no, I just have to watch Tidus just drown. So yeah, that's one of my things with that. My favorite game, as you can tell, maybe from my background, this is my living room. It's not an updated picture, actually, but because I think, I have like a Switch OLED that's like over there now. This is a green screen, but my favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 6. So you can see Final Fantasy 3 there, which is 6, Final Fantasy 6 Japanese, Final Fantasy 6 PS1 version, and Final Fantasy 6 over the far the Game Boy Advance complete in box. I also, my newer setup, I have Final Fantasy 6 the Japanese Game Boy Advance now. So yeah, I really like 6. I think it's excellent. I really like turn-based RPGs, but I also really like pixel sprite based, so like Super Nintendo, DS. Last year I played Chrono Trigger for the first time, and
I remember that.
I still haven't beaten it yet. I'm still at the final boss because there's a way that you can do like where you can fight the final boss like 4 times to grind on it, and by like keep going into, because you like can go back and forth in time. So if you beat the boss in the future, it still exists in the past. So you just like keep going slow, like into the past, just a little bit at a time. And so I'm on like the last part of doing that, and I haven't done it yet on stream. Maybe someday. But yeah, I'm a real huge fan of those types of games. For the longest time, I said I hated Chrono Trigger because I don't know. I just didn't really like the combat. The ATB system was really weird with it, like where stuff was just attacking me whenever it wanted. Like it wasn't completely turn-based. Like even Final Fantasy 6 and stuff, there was that active time battle, like the ATB system thing there. But like stuff didn't really just attack you randomly. It's like once your ATB filled, then you had the floor. You could do whatever you wanted. You could wait. But yeah, no, with Chrono Trigger, you have to like decide fast, because otherwise the enemy will just be like, oh, it's my turn again, cool, and you're like, it's not, it's still my
Yeah.
turn. But anyway, as I take a swig of water here really quick, I wanted to go back to talking about stuff here. We kind of talked about, I mean, not kind of, we did talk about why you decided to do all this stuff, why you decided to start streaming and all this. And I guess my question for you, what are things that you've learned now that you wish you could have told your past self when you were first starting?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Because I know answers for me.
I can think of a couple different ones. First, I think is not to take things personally. As we were talking about that earlier, like, you know how we get that mean comment every once in a while, but we don't know how somebody's day is going, or if we do take things in the wrong tone. I think that's my number one. Is not, you know, don't take things personally, because there was a few times when I first started streaming where I wasn't mentally prepared yet.
Yeah.
I didn't have that experience on how to be mentally prepared, on how to handle everything. Like, you know, I get that TikTok comment, or I get that Twitch comment, and you tell yourself, don't take it personally. You still do. Sometimes it's hard. But I think as a newbie, I think that's like your biggest mistake. Especially if you comment something back, you know, especially if you were trying to be rude.
Yeah.
It does not look good on you. You know, people, you've seen it happen with celebrities, or, you know, bigger Twitch streamers. Somebody's gonna screenshot that and use it against you. I luckily never had that happen, nor did I ever get like super mean. But yeah, I know it's hard to get that experience right away, but I've regretted some things I've said in the past, and it did drive that viewer away, or that follower, or. But other than that, like I said, I was lucky. Well, not lucky. I guess I was on the smarter side. You know, I prepped for months trying to figure out like how all of this work, even though it doesn't work. It doesn't always work like that. Things can be so hit or miss, and not everybody's experience is the same on tutorials or experiences. But like I said, I think that's the one I have to go with is, you know, don't get snappy back.
Yeah.
It will be documented.
Yeah.
It can be used against you. it can completely ruin, because things get taken out of context too. So easily.
Yeah. It's like the
I've
meme.
seen it happen.
It's like the meme where it's like, I'm about to ruin this man's career. Like that's what it is.
No, exactly. And I've seen that happen to so many of my Twitch friends. They stopped streaming because, you know, they did try standing up for themselves, or, you know, fighting back, and it just doesn't need, just delete the comment. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
It did ruin their streaming career because things got taken out of context, or rumors got spread, and it just turns into a big dumpster fire. And you either have to take a break and come back and hopefully things are fine, or it's over.
Yeah.
That's really the scary thing of content creation. Everything can go perfectly, and you just don't know.
Yeah, so I guess to bring it back really quick to me, because I'm selfish. So things that, because like I asked you, but then I was also saying like, yeah, I have a few things. Things I'm still learning about, honestly, is that TikTok didn't exist when I first started trying to stream. Because I want to say I started streaming like 2018 maybe.
Oh, okay.
And like I tried a little bit, and I had a really bad laptop, and I was using like an emulator for Mother 3, since I love Mother 3. It's somewhere back here. But Yeah, so like I was playing that, and then I eventually like got um I had like this old capture card that I had because when you work in like a GameStop or whatever, or you're around a lot of these other people at the time, I was like, oh, I can do content creation, sure. And there weren't a whole lot of tutorials and stuff. So I have a, I'm not going to tell you all what it is, but I have a Let's Play channel that I don't know the password for. So it is on YouTube and there are episodes of it there. But I think I'm still subscribed to it technically on YouTube. But yeah, it was something that like a friend and I did who we worked at GameStop. So we bought a capture card together, which was like an older capture card that took um like component and composite cables as well as HDMI. It was like this
Mhm.
big hefty beast, like had its own power supply too. It wasn't charged within um with USB or anything. It didn't power itself by USB. You had to actually plug it in somewhere. And so that's where I initially started doing stuff because we watched Let's Players. We watched like Game Grumps back when Game Grumps was a big thing. I guess they're
Yeah.
probably still a big thing, but I don't follow them anymore. Um so that's where I kind of started, and then eventually I tried to do Twitch because like, yeah, I can do Twitch, sure. And I just had like the worst um presence, I guess I could say, because I didn't know what I was doing. There weren't really many tutorials. Streamlabs was a thing that existed, and that's what thing people were recommending, but it was kind of like you're just on your own. You don't
Yeah.
really have anything to really look at, whereas now like you can look up stuff. I can look up Adobe Premiere stuff now, and I'm just like, hey, here's how you edit your video. I'm like, thank you,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't know how to render this video correctly without a tutorial like that. But yeah, just I kind of wish I had the ability or um the time and patience to actually research things and then go for it, because I feel like I would have had an easier time going into it, because I didn't hit affiliate until 20, let's see, last year maybe. Yeah, last year. Wait, no, I hit affiliate 2 years ago, so maybe 2020, but I didn't get my
Okay.
first payout until last year, because I just wasn't really focusing on it. I didn't really know what to do. I mean, hell, I still don't know what I'm doing. And
I don't
so,
either.
but
Gotta
like
fake
just the
it till you make
way,
it.
yeah, exactly. But like just like the way that I had my stuff formatted, it just looked worse compared to other people. And that's what one of the things that I like about this podcast in particular. We're not the most popular thing, we're far from it. But we like to make it as pretty as we can, as professional as we can. And that's
Mhm.
one of the things that I've taken to heart now, because I couldn't do that with my streaming career. I can at least try to do it with this. And like, I mean, you're people are looking at it right now. Like, you could just put up an audio file and just call it a day. But for me, I
Yeah.
wanted to make it look semi-professional and like have like actual cameras and backgrounds, and make sure that you all can see what I'm showing. And like, yeah, we use Discord, but yeah,
Mhm.
like that's one of the things, like even watching you, like you've given me ideas of things just by watching you stream. Like I never thought of having, because I stream weird times. I also stream when other people are streaming. So I mean, this
Mhm.
isn't about me about that, whatever. I also just don't really stream because this isn't my main revenue. However, when I do get raids, I don't really know how to address it. And
Mhm.
so I did create like a different like I use a stream deck. Like that's how I use to like switch between all of
Yeah.
my stuff there. And so I have a different scene on OBS where it is just for raids, similar like how you
Yeah.
do now.
Yeah.
Because you gave me that idea. And now I need to look into sound alerts and stuff because I have no idea how those work. So I might pick your brain about that later.
Oh, you
But
can.
but
It's so easy. It
yeah.
looks complicated. It's actually really easy.
Yeah, so like those are the things. It's just uh having the prior knowledge and just having that initial baggage to then just actually continue on the journey instead of, I don't know, from what I feel my Twitch career is, in quotations for audio listeners. It's been uh let's phrase it how Ben would like it. It's been Christmas vacation. You know,
Yes.
like I eventually got to a place where I'm happy enough, but there have been a lot of like weird stuff along the way. And
Mhm.
so like, yeah, because Ben, you love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But like, yeah, it's like something like that, like where it's just you have an end goal, but life happens and you
Mhm.
just weird stuff happens in between. But I'm finally at the place where I'm not necessarily, I guess I'm confident, but like I'm happy with what I've accomplished.
Mhm.
But at least I can still see room for improvement. So
There's
um
always room for improvement.
yeah. So
Even when you don't think there is, there always is.
yeah, and that's a good way of thinking, because
Mhm.
if you think you're perfect, then
No,
then you're going to crash and burn eventually, because there's going to be this new thing happening and you're not on that trend.
yeah, yeah, trends. Oh, yeah, don't even get me started on that. You have to be on top of trends in content creation.
Yeah.
Have to be.
Yeah. But cool. Ben, did you want to say something? You did your so
I was just well, and I was just going to ask you actually, you know, with what you've learned going from the past to now, what about for the future? Like, what are some things that you want to do in the future with your career and then being an influencer and stuff like that?
You know, the one thing that I keep trying to aim for on that subject is technology. That was my biggest downfall with starting Twitch. I don't know anything about technology. When I first started, I couldn't tell you the specs of my PC. I didn't know anything about I was like, what's a GPU? What's a CPU? What's this? I don't know anything because I never had like an actual PC like this before.
yeah.
So I've definitely learned like definitely the past 6 months because my computer like died on me. So I had to learn everything about it and get things fixed on it. But the main thing like I want to do moving forward is how to make my streams more interactive, better quality, like on those lines. Because I know it's not for everybody, but for me personally, I get drawn more towards people's streams or content when it is better quality or it is more interactive. And there's nothing wrong with it if it's not. I'll still watch you, but that's just what my eyes get
Hmm.
drawn to. So, I feel like just as a content creator in general, not just me personally, I feel like you constantly need to upgrade your stuff and stay up on trends and just improve, improve, improve. But you don't have to. Like I said, I started out with a $60 webcam, had no background like this. My computer could barely handle playing my Switch. It lagged the whole time on stream.
I know that
People
feeling.
watch. They watch, but it lagged the whole time. That was mainly the reason why I could only stream for 2 hours because my RAM and my CPU would like give out. So
Hmm.
the streams were cut short. So just for me personally, is just me improving the quality of my stream, and but I'm still learning as a person too. I'm still trying to learn how to interact with people and get hit up with like the random questions or the really random comments and like, how to handle things as a content creator because all eyes are on me.
Yeah.
Like I might only have, maybe 10, 15 people in my chat, but I don't know who the heck's watching me. I don't have my lurker list like on. It's hidden on my end. So I never know who's watching me because randomly I'll get an email like when I get done with stream and it'll be like a company or it'll be a charity or some like other organization and they'll be like, "Hey, I watched your whole 6-hour stream and now I want to do this with you." So you just never know what you're trying to prepare for, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I can tell you from Alex and I's perspective, when we when we started this, my computer was awful. I know his computer was. So we've upgraded. We've even upgraded new mics and stuff. And I think the quality has gotten better
Hmm.
with that. Plus, we've been learning. So I think that's there. And I'm like you. Like I will look for new Twitch streamers, and even if it's not the best setup,
Hmm.
but it is very difficult if it's really really bad um, to watch the stream sometimes.
Yeah.
You get used to everyone their streams being a certain way. So yeah, I get that. I think that's a good. I think that's an awesome goal to be able to just keep up with technology and do all those different things. So
What is your opinion on? Well, I guess first of all, I don't know this if you do this or not. Do you have a YouTube channel for like your VODs?
I don't. I get asked that question, I think, every stream
Okay.
because I do first playthroughs, so people want to see first playthroughs.
Yeah.
Um, I've been wanting to upload to YouTube, but I know YouTube's really finicky with, like your background music or your sound alerts, like anything that's copyrighted. And see, this is where I need to improve myself. I need to know how to separate things like that on videos and live streams.
There's a way within, I forget how to do it, but I know a guy who taught me once. There's a way to do it in OBS where when it
Yes.
saves a VOD, your audio is going, it won't save the background audio.
Yes, I've had people tell me they would show me how to do it, and I just haven't sat down and do it.
Mhm.
But that's part of it. But my biggest reason with why I don't upload my VODs to YouTube is because I talk a lot. I don't play the game the whole time. That's not my main focus. So I feel like I would get a lot of thumbs down on YouTube and a lot of comments of, "Oh my gosh, she talks like the whole time. Where's like the gameplay?"
But
So,
I guess it depends on how you market the video on YouTube, though.
hmm.
Well, because I guess my other question was, have you thought about streaming on YouTube? Because I know like Twitch has kind of loosened its grip on a lot of people as far as you can pretty much stream wherever you want to. There's still that thing for affiliates where it's like if you are streaming something on Twitch, I want to say it has to be Twitch only for 24 hours and then it can go somewhere else. But you can still
Something like
just
that.
stream on YouTube. I don't think they care about TikTok though. I think you can like co-stream with TikTok and they're just
I
like
think you can.
cool with that, but I know YouTube is the one where they're like that. Have you thought about going to YouTube and like seeing how that affects your community as well? Like just like having different nights where are YouTube as well? Because what I've heard of YouTube, what I've seen of YouTube, it's a different environment there, but
It is.
it seems to be better community and honestly money wise. Um
The split's better, that's for sure.
yeah. Um but I don't know. I have you had that thought before of going over to YouTube and either fully migrating like with the Twitch news with the split and all that stuff where it's
Hmm.
like it's kind of shady that they're doing that to like the big people.
I know.
But like if that happens to the big people, that might happen to the smaller people at some point as well. Like they might just crack down on us more. And so have you thought about moving to YouTube at all or even for a little bit, like I said, for certain content?
50-50. And see, this is where we get back on that topic of improving things. It I think it's really important to be on multiple platforms. Your name, your content gets everywhere. YouTube, I'm still a little hesitant on
Hmm.
because it's so different than Twitch. It's so different than TikTok live streaming. I've been thinking about it since we've been getting more and more announcements on how Twitch is just slowly,
Yeah.
going, not slowly, but they just keep going downhill. I don't know about live streaming.
Hmm.
I've never done YouTube before, so I've been thinking about this. I would probably start off with, I was thinking about doing what I do on Twitch, like doing my first playthroughs, but just recording them privately, like, without the Twitch interaction and
Mm-hmm.
just uploading that way. And, that way I get more gameplay in too, because I don't finish games on Twitch. It's just literally impossible for me.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, recording an OBS, doing a different game where I play through it, and then just uploading it to YouTube and doing a channel at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe adding like an extra day a week where I do YouTube live streaming. But I haven't had the chance to go over there and go see what the environment is like exactly, because I know with YouTube, like, just on a post, like, uploading videos, I know people's comments just aren't nice. Compared to Twitch, you have mods, or you have like the auto mod feature. Like, it's kind of
there
hard.
is that stuff on YouTube now too.
Is
if you
there?
do it
Okay.
through the live stream wise, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, because the things that I mean, I've kind of looked into YouTube a bit. We talked about in the break that none of y'all heard. But we talked about kind of funny and stuff like that. Or maybe we talked about it on the show. See, I don't know what happens. I don't know what I talk about on a show, what I don't talk about on a show. But they recently made the move because of this whole Twitch thing. They do stuff on both, and so they've been learning it. But also, I watch. I casually watch like VTubers and stuff. So
Yeah.
like Hololive, and so like I've seen how they handle it. How like you have subscribers, which are your followers essentially, and then you can have members, which are your subscribers, like in Twitch, and then you can also have like super chats, which are like highlighted like bit messages essentially. And I want to say being a member is cheaper than being a subscriber on Twitch. I want to say that's the case. I'm not too sure, but I know like the way for how super chats work, the minimum it's better for the user to when you like gift money that way, because it's cheaper in the long run for them, but then you're also getting more engagement by reading. So like for example with Hololive or someone, because they're so popular, they're anime people, they have certain days where they just they're like, all right, we're just reading all the super chats. I turned them off, so we're just reading all of them that we got for the week, and then just go through there and just kind of have that interaction that way. But yeah, like it seems like an interesting platform, especially because Twitch is being so weird, I guess, lack of a better term. So I'm interested in doing as well as the copyright stuff as well. I was thinking about doing, and then I fell asleep. So I was thinking about doing yesterday. So I'm dating myself. So yesterday I was thinking about doing a karaoke stream. So I turned off VODs and stuff on Twitch, but then I've still heard some horror stories like where they can still just turn you off, even if you are just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of scares me. Whereas with YouTube, if it is if there is no VOD for it and it's live only, they won't go after you. It's you just call it an unarchived stream, and you can just do whatever you want on those.
Yes, I remember Twitch putting out that news like a month or two back where they can get you live. I really doubt they would, but they always go after the smaller streamers for stuff like that. So it would just be unfortunate if you got timed out for the 30 days or whatever for doing something very minimal like that. But
yeah, exactly. And that's why I've kind of been thinking about like going to that stuff as well. But or with this podcast here, like we have a Twitch. We tried using it once. We're not really a business, so we don't have enough followers, but also we don't really want to hit that affiliate status, because then we have to start thinking about how we just want emotes. We don't necessarily care about the money. We just want the emotes, but without that kind of stuff, you can't really do that. But maybe with YouTube or something, we might be able to do something like that. But yeah, I was just curious what your views were with YouTube, especially since this kind of stuff has been going down. But with that as well, what are your views on, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but what are your current views on TikTok as a platform? Like as far as like live streaming goes, as far as actual content goes, like it's very much it seems to be broken more now than ever.
Yes,
But
they recently changed the algorithm like a month ago.
mhm,
It's so bad now. It's way backwards than what it used to be.
mhm.
I honestly don't recommend TikTok anymore for a platform, like especially to bring in Twitch people. I know it's different for everybody else, but they've just changed it so much. It doesn't work
Mhm.
for Twitch anymore. Like my clips used to do pretty decent on TikTok. That I would bring over from Twitch. Now TikTok purposefully makes it to where those don't get pushed out.
I've
Like they
noticed
get
that
like shadow banned almost.
I barely see any of your videos, and I've been following you, like I said, since the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah, they've
I occasionally see them, and when I'm due, I'm like, oh, yep, here's one. I better like this, so then TikTok knows that I see more. Um, but yeah, it just doesn't happen. Instead, I've been getting a bunch of zero people, I guess. Like I which is good, I guess. The algorithm's working for someone else's favor.
yeah.
I've been getting a lot of people who are very small and like
Mhm.
very new, and they are making good content. I'm like, oh, this is cool, awesome. Um I recently followed someone who I guess was doing YouTube, and they recently moved to TikTok, and now I'm in their stuff, and now they're actually growing. So I think that's
Cool.
awesome there. But TikTok also doesn't know how to cater to people who are already in the audiences. And it's just
Mhm.
like, well, you already got them. They're already your followers, so they're locked for you. Let's go find you some new people. And it's like, no, they followed you for a reason. I never go to the friends or the following section. I always stay on the For You page.
Yeah.
And so even, I mean, honestly, even going to the following section, it's still messed up there. Like
It's
I
really
don't
messed
see
up.
stuff a whole lot there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, like you said, with the algorithm not being so hot, like what are your views of it now, just in general? TikTok as a platform. Are you going to continue using it since you have it, or are you going to start winding down on it? Like,
I still think TikTok's a great platform. I just don't think it's a good platform if you're trying to promote your other platforms
yeah.
because they don't want to promote anything else. They want it to be just TikTok.
Hmm.
So that aspect, that part isn't as good as it used to be. Because when I first started, oh my gosh, I like found other Twitch streamers and stuff so easily.
Hmm.
Now I don't see anybody, even the people I follow. It's like they're just not there. I have to like physically go find them
Yep.
to see what their daily content is. So I just don't think they're doing such a good job anymore with like other, content creators who aren't strictly that platform. But I think it's still good. It still gets your name out. You still meet other people. But I with the new algorithm, because I've been testing this. I've been back and forth the past few months. They used to tell you need to post 3 times a day.
Hmm.
That's how you get noticed on that platform. It boosts your algorithm. It's not like that anymore. So I've really stepped back from TikTok. I only post maybe 3 times a week. And my content does way better posting 3 times a week than it does 3 times a day. That's like kind of how they changed the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because I'm so glad I know Twitch partners who don't gatekeep. So they're partners on Twitch and they're also like, they have like the really high viewership for their TikTok lives and stuff, so they get the information us regulars don't.
Hmm.
And TikTok sent them an email and was like, "Hey, we're not going to view content as much anymore because they have to view it first before they push it out." So, they were recommending to only post once a day now.
Hmm.
So, I've been trying to stick with that more instead of trying to cuz posting 3 times a day burns you out so bad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like impossible. TikTok's only a 5 to 20-second video,
Hmm.
but it's a lot of work to make that 10-second video because you really need to plan it out for it to,
I mean,
do
what is
well.
that, like a whole afternoon, like of just
It
like
takes, yeah,
figuring
it
out
takes,
like the whole week essentially?
It does. It takes me a lot of time because you guys see what sounds are trending and you have to get on
Mm-hmm.
it quick. If you're a few days behind on a trending sound,
Yeah.
it won't do good.
Better be on the
So,
corn fast because now Corn Kid,
No,
no one cares about that Corn Kid.
I know it's over.
Yeah.
He was popular for.
Or
He actually went a little bit longer than I thought. I think he got like a good 2 weeks.
yeah, he went longer than Chrissy Wake Up, thankfully.
Oh God, I love Stranger Things,
I've never
but
seen it.
hearing that so many times, it drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like that. Those go for like maybe a week.
Although now I'm
maybe.
thinking about it, that's still Schmoyo. So it's still them, like the people who did the music. But yeah, I was just curious what you thought about all of that, because I personally don't know how to market myself, and I know like a while back Twitch basically said like, yeah, we're not good with marketing people. That's why you should go on other avenues like TikTok and like all
Yeah.
these other places. But if like even TikTok isn't helping with that, like
It used to.
where can you go now? Because like Twitter doesn't help. I post on
Well,
Twitter a lot and I have no traction anymore. I still have all the same followers I did before, but I've noticed personally with TikTok, I've been getting a lot of traction. I don't really post on TikTok anymore, but I've been getting a lot of traction and commenting on other videos, and then I get just a ton of likes on those comments.
so your name still gets out there. I mean,
Yeah.
Hover was a really good concept
Mm-hmm.
of being TikTok for streamers, but Hover's already done. They didn't do a good job with that because it was a follow for follow scam kind of thing, which
Yep.
I can see how that happens pretty easily. They had a really good concept because, like I said, TikTok is not how it used to be. Because when I first started, I saw other streamers on there. My streamer content got pushed out really good, and now it's a total opposite. So I think TikTok's still a good platform, just not as streamer content. I feel like it's more of your niche content.
Yeah.
And then that will still bring you in, in that group of people who might make their way to your Twitch because they got things in common with you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
true.
as a content creator for TikTok personally now with the new algorithm, it's just not there anymore, unfortunately.
Which makes sense because a lot of the people that I follow on TikTok, when you go to the following part, unless it's someone huge like Gary Vee or something like that, I'm not seeing their regular content as much.
Exactly.
But then you go to their actual page, and then there's all these videos that you miss.
There's like 10 videos, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I should go through these now because I missed all of these. Like it's like with your content or like with I don't know, like other people who I occasionally watch, like other friends and stuff, and it's like, geez, I thought you stopped doing TikTok for a while. Apparently not. TikTok just hates you and hates me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought with people message me and they're like, "Are you still on TikTok?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still on TikTok." They're like, "I never see your content anymore." I was just like, "Yeah, that's TikTok."
Yeah.
Well, their algorithm's broke. I literally look at one video of those fainting goats, and now like a good percentage is like goats are animals.
That's like all your For You page.
Yeah, that. What was the other thing? A couple comedians. Like what did I watch? Oh, there's quite a few comedians I watch on there, and there's this one that I've watched several times because it's so just awful. It's funny. My wife's like, stop sending it to me. So now I get a lot of that. I get like, and not everybody is funny. This kid was funny, but yeah, I think their algorithm's been broken for a while, and so I could see that.
They've been giving me a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff though lately because I think it's because it's the 20th anniversary, so like they're really pushing that. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know me right now, but why am I seeing someone like I don't know, cut a horse's hoof, like like grooming a horse's hoof and like like I don't know, shearing it essentially. Like why am I seeing this content? This isn't like I want to look at a horse's huge toenail essentially. I don't know why I'm seeing this, but okay.
Don't look up fainting goats because then I get a bunch of those.
All right, well I'll try not to. What other platforms do you use then? Are you mainly then just on Twitch and then TikTok? Like I know you have a Twitter.
Mhm.
But are Twitch and TikTok the ones that you're the most active on?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I did cut back on TikTok, so I'm only on there like, well, posting wise, I'm only on there like 3 times a
Yeah.
week. But I go follow, I like other people's stuff and comment on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm on Twitter and I do a little bit Instagram. Instagram Reels has been a lot better with like actual like creator content versus TikTok. So I've been trying to get a little bit more on Instagram, but I know, Instagram's kind of dead itself. It's been around for a while.
Well,
It's more of a picture thing,
it's also a
but
Facebook property.
yeah, and now it's
So
now it's connected with Facebook and stuff. So I kind of feel like that made it plummet a little bit more. I feel like Instagram's more towards like the older community,
it is
which
now.
nothing wrong with that, but it's a little outdated because Instagram came out when I was in high school, and I didn't even use it then. I don't know. It just wasn't like marketed correctly, at least in
it's
my
never been
experience.
marketed correctly. And then when Facebook bought it,
Yeah.
and anytime, and I'm gonna say it, anytime Facebook gets their hands on something, they ruin it.
Mhm.
And so it has not been marketed well, and it's
Mm-mm.
like this is another one of our meta products,
Mhm.
which in itself, calling yourself meta is kind of
Yeah.
we won't
Yeah.
go into that because then that brings up the whole Avatar movie thing, and it's just a big mess.
Yep.
Yeah.
James Cameron's probably listening right now.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's listening to that previous episode where you're talking about like stop releasing this movie. Why you have to release Avatar all the time?
He really does it to be a dick because he knows that. So Spider-Man re-released, little tangent, it re-released, so he's like, oh my god, put Avatar out because I got to make sure it's the most money ever. No one cares. Stop doing it.
It still makes money though. People are
It
seeing it.
does.
I don't know how.
I don't know. I mean, people live on their rock, or they're so hyped over it because, as James Cameron says, the only way to watch Avatar is by seeing it with the real 3D glasses. And if you watched it at home,
Yeah.
you never watched Avatar. Yeah, it's just entitled.
I've seen it a couple times, and that's good enough for me.
I saw it once in theaters. And I was like, I'm done. This isn't super great. It's honestly Pocahontas, but it is on like another planet. Like that's kind of what it is.
I mean,
it's too much CGI for me, to be honest.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and it's
Too
older
much.
CGI too. Like it still looks
Yeah.
fine, but it looks a little off, and that's what's
Mhm.
off-putting
Well,
with it.
Obviously, whatever he said to Disney, because they're just writing him blank checks.
Oh yeah,
do
like
all
the
these
movie
movies.
Blank Check.
Yeah.
Man, I
Just-
love that movie.
I got into an argument with one of my friends. He's like, "How do you see Avatar is not the greatest movie ever?" And I said, "You know what else is not a really good movie? The Titanic." And he did both those. So
I agree.
I said we don't need a 2.5 hour long about somebody not paying attention and a boat going down. We don't need that.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is where all my negative comments are gonna come. I talked about Avatar and Titanic. It's like a double whammy of talking smack.
I mean,
I know.
I do that about video games all the time, or anime. Like I kind of joke about it, just as like a character. Like for the longest time, I'm just like, oh, Skyrim sucks. It's the worst. Because honestly, I hate Skyrim. I hate a lot of high fantasy things, and
Mhm.
so like I don't like Lord of the Rings. I like The Hobbit, like the book itself, and maybe the first film. But overall, like I'm not really big into that, which is weird because I like Zelda.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I don't really like Skyrim. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. And I finally like played Skyrim once, and I accidentally like slip out like, this is a fine game, and then someone I think clipped it. I was like, damn it. now you all know it was all fake. But I mean, yeah. I guess we've been going for quite a while. I kind of want to end this episode with, well, because Ben brought it up, because sure, why not? I'm going to ask you this question. It has nothing to do with anything. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, it's really hard for me to pick a favorite movie because we got different categories.
Yeah.
But I think I'm sure I think you've seen my tattoos.
Oh,
There's
right.
one tattoo.
Yeah.
There's one tattoo that gives it away. I think my all-time favorite movie is Jaws
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those movies where it teaches you what happens when you don't listen to people and you break the rules. Like, it just has a really good concept behind it. And then, we love the big, over dramatic shark that gets everybody. But I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
like, 5 or 6 years old. It scared the crap out of me. And I don't know why that movie always stuck with me. It's my favorite, but I also love The Wedding Singer. I know they're totally two
That's a
different
great
movies.
one. I love that
but
movie.
I love that movie. Like, I watch that movie when I'm like in a bad mood, and I never get sick of it.
I saw like
I love
a
it.
musical version of that once.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is good.
I didn't know they had a musical version of
Yeah,
it.
it was like a long time ago. I don't know if it was like a stage production like around here, like local theater type stuff. But I was like, yeah, this is pretty faithful actually. It's pretty good.
I could watch that.
Yeah. But cool. Yeah.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna tell me you had a tattoo of Cousin Eddie, and I'd be like, okay, she's winning all the way around at this point. She agreed with me on Avatar and the boat movie, and now she has a tattoo of Cousin Eddie.
Nah.
Perfect.
I do have a tattoo of Wednesday Addams. Does that do anything?
That's even better.
I love the Addams Family. I love the old TV
Yes.
show. I love the movies. It was my mom's favorite TV show growing up. So I got that tattoo for her and for me. So, but yeah, I do have a Wednesday Addams tattoo.
That's actually pretty cool. It was funny because my older brother, we were talking. He's like, "Why do you like Christmas Vacation?" I go, "I feel like that's like our family." And he's like,
I love that movie.
Well, it was funny because he goes, "Well, who's Cousin Eddie?" I'm like, "Oh, that's definitely you." On just that is you to a nutshell. And he's like, "I don't know whether I should be insulted." I said, "I love Cousin Eddie, so I would take that as a compliment."
Hey, he gets the job done at the end of the movie.
does.
He brings him his boss. He was very important. He was a piece of crap in the process, but he was really, really good in the end, and everything got fixed. So
Yes, yeah. I still every time we watch, I still laugh.
I love that movie.
When they're there standing at the lights and they look at the little girl. She goes, "Oh my God, her eyes are straight." And she's like, she falls down the well, eyes go cross. She gets kicked by a mule. Right back there. I think everyone knows that. There, I think everyone has a family member that is exactly like that.
I
or close.
agree. I agree.
All right. So, I talked about it earlier. Maybe my favorite movie is Rush Hour 2. Just Rush Hour 2 in
That
general.
movie. I love all of them. Not even just,
Yeah. But yeah, Rush Hour 2 was excellent. It's that nice blend of comedy and seriousness, whereas like the first one's more serious with a little comedy, and then it just progresses that way. But then my favorite anime movie, which I think you might know, maybe. My favorite anime movie is Lupin the Third: The Castle of Cagliostro.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember you talking about that.
I have that movie on 4K in HDR. I have that
Ooh.
movie on Blu-ray. I have a DVD copy somewhere. I have the soundtrack. But yeah, that's my favorite like anime movie because I have two different categories because I'm like animation and then live action.
Well, see, now if we're getting to anime,
yeah.
then I have to go into like Princess Mononoke or Perfect Blue.
Ooh, Satoshi Kon.
Yeah, there's
Millennium
a lot of good
Have you
anime
watched
movies.
Millennium Actress?
I have not. It's been on my list forever.
Well,
I need to watch that one.
It's so good. I have a Blu-ray. Actually, I think we have like 3 Blu-rays in this house, honestly, of that movie. But yeah, that one's awesome. But yeah, Satoshi Kon is a genius. We over here at my house, we recently watched Memories, and the first short in Memories is made by Satoshi Kon. It's called was it Metallic Rose? And
I think so.
It's like a weird post-apocalyptic thing in space where they go, and it's just like I I don't know, but spoilers kind of. It's like a robot's like memories, and there's just like a AI there, and there's just a bunch of like
Mhm.
holograms and stuff. But it's very Satoshi Kon, and so if you like that, if you like Paranoia Agent, I mean that's all
Oh,
Satoshi
that's a
Kon as
good
well.
one. Mhm.
But yeah, no, Perfect Blue is a good answer.
Wow,
That's
so
a
good.
eclectic, or I guess not eclectic, a niche answer, I should say. It's not like
Yes.
I mean, you gave the Princess Mononoke, which is just like you have to give the Ghibli film, sure. But then
Of course.
you gave the other answer. I was like, oh, all right, you know your shit.
I do. I do. It's been, it's been a while because most
Yeah.
of those movies we watched growing up, they were like randomly on cable or,
Hmm.
on Tommy or whatever. And then you get back and you're older and like, I remember this and I forgot how much I liked it.
Yeah.
But
Like
that's a really good movie.
yeah, Mononoke I had on VHS, and I got it because my grandma was like, "You like anime?" And I forget how old I was. I think I was like 8, maybe, when I got it, and I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really violent." Like the only thing I'd really seen at the time was maybe Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, and that was it
Mhm.
for
The
anime.
classics.
No, that was really it for anime. So like going right into Mononoke as my first film, like my first Miyazaki film either. Anyway, like it was a little intense, like just seeing all the
Yeah.
graphics and just like the boar in the beginnings, like,
And
oh,
that
this
was
is,
the most graphic.
yeah, like it was scary, honestly, as a kid, but
It
like you still
was.
enjoy it. But cool. Yeah, awesome. I mean, we just told our favorites. Ben, do you want to tell you the favorites for the audience?
Because I know, because I'm gonna make me look even older. Um, so I do like Spirited Away. I
Oh,
think
I
that,
love that one.
but
That one gets better with age because once you know more about Japan's folklore and history, you're like, oh, it's that thing.
Yes,
Oh, it's that
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
but one of the first films I ever watched was literally Fist of the North Star,
Mm.
Oh,
uh, and of course Cowboy Bebop.
yep.
So
Well, I guess that's the time to end the show. Felix is up, and that means it's time to end this. But thank you so much for joining us today, Michaela. We
yes, thank
appreciate
you.
you um,
Of course,
being
I had
here.
a blast.
But really quick before we do our spiel, can you tell the audience? We'll have stuff in our descriptions and all that kind of stuff for links and stuff for people to find you. But for audio listeners and stuff, can you tell them where they can find you?
So, man, you can find me on so many platforms, but Twitch is my main one. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok. I was on Hover, but we did talk about that. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you can find me on there, but I don't post anymore. But Twitch and TikTok are my main, and then probably Twitter as well. Twitter, I always post a lot about my streams. I post, my TikToks on there as well,
Mhm.
and just just my everyday personal things. But yeah, Twitch and TikTok would probably the best way you could find me.
Is it still the same username everywhere across the board?
So Twitter's a little bit different because you can only have so many letters.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly,
Is
it's
it just
just
GF?
GF for gluten free underscore waifu. It wouldn't let me type out gluten free. I think I was like one letter too long, which
Mhm.
sucked. But that one is slightly different. But on all my socials, I have my beacon, like my beacon link.
Mhm.
So everything's all in one. So it's super easy to find me.
Okay. Awesome. For everyone else, if you are new here again, what's wrong with you? That's the Reggie Fils-Aimé quote I always like to use. What's wrong with you? But if this is your first time listening, hello, welcome. We do podcasts bi-weekly, and it's a fun time. We do it bi-weekly now because burnout's a real thing, and also it's easier to make content this way. And we post on every other Wednesday for audio, and then every other Friday for video, except during this time, from Thanksgiving until the end of the year, maybe until actually like the beginning, like the first week of January. I'll have to double check on that. it will be weekly at that time. So when you're listening to this right now, there should still be some other episodes here. There should be an episode about Karate Kid season 4 or Cobra Kai season 4 and 5. Go ahead and listen to that because man, Cobra Kai is crazy right now. It's awesome.
It is.
And we also talked about Rush Hour 1 and 2. And yeah, we're talking about some other stuff as well coming up here soon. But yeah, so I guess I'm trying to figure out how to end this. So Michaela, normally at the end, we say something stupid and then we end it by saying "get at it." So so Ben, do you have anything else to say to the lovely people today?
Get at it.
Get at it. Say it, Michaela. Say
get at it.
Hey, all right. See you next time. Bye.